and welcome to your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we learn how the United Way of Northern New Jersey's ALICE program is helping households that are struggling financially. But first, the Banyan School is a private, nonprofit school for students with language-based learning disabilities located in Fairfield. Banyan School's Transition and Work-Based Learning Coordinator, Melissa Wish, and Principal, Janet Blanchard, are here to tell us more about the incredible programs at the school. Melissa, Janet, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for providing Garden State students with such an opportunity. Janet, as principal, tell us about the school as a whole, the students, the academic requirements, and who might want to come to a school like Banyan.
Sure, I'd be happy to. We're a state-approved private school for students with special needs, and we service students in grades 9 through 12. And then, of course, we service students from 18 to 21 in our Adult Life Academy program. And we service students who have difficulties in the areas of learning language, reading, English, and communication. And the students who might want to join us at the Banyan School are those who have difficulty in that area of communication, reading, writing, and speaking.
How many students are currently enrolled?
Right now we have 90 from high school and the adult program.
Wonderful. Melissa, tell us about the specialized programs that cater to language-based learning disabilities.
Well, so I work with the work-based learning program. So our students in 11th and 12th grade, as well as our Life Academy students ages 18 to 21, participate in work-based learning so that they can learn hard skills and soft skills out in a real setting with the assistance of their job coaches. Our juniors go out once a week, our seniors go out twice a week, and our Life Academy students who have finished their academic requirements for the state go out 4 times a week. And what we try to do is reinforce that with classes inside the school so that they can learn executive functioning skills, appropriate professional interpersonal skills, problem solving skills, and then they can practice those in a real world setting. We try to rotate the jobs every few months so that students get a taste of different industries, different work environments, small businesses, larger settings, and then they can, make a decision as to what they really want to pursue. We do work with them if they're interested in post-secondary programs, or if they're interested in just world of work after school and help to connect them. I also work with the families as well as the students on setting them up with adult services, so it's smooth when they exit our program and they don't fall off the proverbial cliff. So everything is set when they leave here, and they can start their adult services, whether that includes work, recreational programming, supports for independent living, public transportation training, etc.
That's so wonderful. Where are the students currently working?
We group them in groups of 3 when they need a job coach, just because we have to keep a certain amount of staff in our building. Some of our students are able to work independently out in the community. But right now they're in places, they're in restaurants, they're in large settings such as like Dick's Sporting Goods or At Home, Home Store, CVS. They also work in small, even churches, synagogues. It really depends on what their interests are. Pet stores. We're now working also with a really nice country club that has a lot of different settings that they can work in. They have a restaurant. They have an event space. They have, the golf and helping to set up members who golf. So it's really nice. Right now we have about 18 placements out in the community. We also have placements within our school. We run a coffee and tea and snack business that students can get the support they need and skills in a smaller, safer setting. And before they're ready to go out in the community, we also have students that assist with administrative tasks as well as custodial tasks in our school.
I think that's great that you have them exposed to everything, and that's got to be such a confidence booster for them.
It is because, they feel good, they feel a sense of mastery. We also, if students have issues around executive functioning or motor planning or need behavioral supports, we talk to our job coaches constantly about what they're seeing on site, and then the job coach, and then we can have our related services professionals either push into the job sites or work with the students in our setting, and kind of they'll mimic what is going on in the work setting so they can practice and improve those skills on site. And then it builds confidence. I say our students are so excited to work. If we ever have a snowstorm, they are so upset that they can't work. So it really does, it's a they talk to their parents about it. We keep an active touch with the parents so the parents can engage their students on what skills they're learning out in the real world of work.
Janet, what feedback are you getting from the parents of these students?
We've really gotten such positive feedback. Our whole goal is to make our students productive in the world once they graduate from our program. So not only are we doing the practice out in the field, but we also have a pre-vocational lab here in the building. So for those students who are preparing to go out to work, they work in what's called our PAYUS lab, and they do all pre-vocational skills in there as well, where they get assessment. And the parents are really pleased because it really teaches the students the job skills that they need to be successful once they graduate. And it also gives the students a sense of accomplishment and something that they can talk about at the dinner table when they go home. How was your day at work? Just like all of us talk about at dinner, our students get that opportunity to have those same kind of conversations at the dinner table and use those skills and then take them with them after they graduate.
Janet, I will give you the floor. Please share with us your favorite success story.
We had a student who was working in a healthcare facility, a senior facility, assisted living, nursing home, and he spent time there as an unpaid intern, and he worked there, and he did so well, and they liked him so much that once he graduated, they hired him into a paid position. So it's amazing when our students can take what they practice in school, and then it makes them productive, and he's helped the residents there. They love him. He works in recreation, and he gets to run activities, and it's great because now we have another student placed there, and we're hoping that we can continue the trend.
We have a student that we placed in a daycare setting for his work-based learning, and the children adored him, the parents adored him, the staff adored him, and they ended up hiring him 25 hours a week as a paid employee upon graduation, and he loves it. So it's really a wonderful story, and it's within his home community. He luckily lives local to our school, so we were able to support him. And yeah, he'll be able to walk to work, which is really wonderful.
You're in Fairfield. Are all of your students close to Fairfield, or are you pulling them from across the Garden State?
Our lower schools in Fairfield, the high school and transition program is in Little Falls, not far away. But we do pull them from different parts of the state. I would say mostly from Essex County, Hudson County, Passaic County, Union County, Bergen County. Janet, would you agree?
Yeah, the majority of the students are from northern New Jersey, but we've had students from as far away as Ocean County, and we've also had students who've come all the way across the bridge from the state of New York.
Wow. What do you think attracts them to your school?
I really truly believe it's the sense of community. We have such a strong sense of community here at Banyan, both at the elementary school and the high school, and the students and the staff are really supportive of one another. So these are historically students who haven't met with great success in school, and when they come to Banyan, they form a community, they have true friendships, they really get to know one another, and everybody lifts everybody up. So it's really important when you come to a place and feel good. I'm a really strong believer in you can't learn in a place that you don't like. And when the kids come to school and they're happy and they feel successful, it really breeds just this environment where everyone's success is shared by everyone. And that's the amazing environment that we created at Banyan.
Melissa, take us through a typical day at your school with your students.
So it depends on what grade they're in. The high school students, because they still have academic requirements, will have their academic requirements. We also have clubs for them that are built in one day a week, so we'll have shorter classroom periods. They have lunch, they have electives. So similar to a regular high school experience. And they also have their push in and pull out related services, speech, PT, OT, counseling. Our older students in the 18 to 21 program are really working on life and independence skills. They're learning everything from how to budget, online banking, cooking, cleaning. They are learning how to write resumes. They're doing mock interviews. They're working on, problems that would come up in a typical work environment, doing a ton of role play. So they do that in the mornings, and then for some of them, we split them into two groups. So one group works in the morning, and then they have their classroom-based learning in the afternoon, and then we flip-flop. But the students are physically on their work sites for 2 hours. We do bus them. Some work sites are close enough that the students can walk. We're teaching them soft skills that can transfer to any work environment, how to be flexible, how to advocate for yourself, how to follow multi-step instructions. We do provide supports for those students who need that until we can fade them. And then also they'll learn hard skills that are particular to that job, whether they're in a grocery store and they have to stock shelves and put things in order of expiration dates, brands, whether it be types or flavors. They have to make sure labels are front facing. These are things that grocery stores get audited on. For those that work in restaurants, we work with them also on serve safe training and proper hygiene within a work environment in a restaurant, and what's expected of them. So it depends on the facility that they're working in.
Because we're a school for students with special needs, it is a tuition-based program, but it is considered part of their public education. So the majority of students who come to us, it's paid by their home district where they live.
That's wonderful, because then everyone has access to your services. Before we wrap here, Melissa, I'll start with you. What made you get into this line of work?
So I actually have a neurodivergent son, and I was a social worker by training. And when he began to have challenges in school, starting in preschool, I became interested in this field. And I really kind of dove in headfirst. So I educated myself on, all things related to school-based social work and needs. And then I ended up at an organization called Opportunity Project, which is a clubhouse for adults with brain injuries. And I learned all about adult services. And that kind of became my passion about bridging that gap. So I advocated as a parent does. And so I really understand what our families are going through. And I think there's a level of trust because they know that I'm on the same journey as them. And I look at their children like another one of my children, and I want them to reach their potential and get every possible service they can so that they can reach their goals and become their most independent self.
People watching will love that they have such an advocate in their corner. And Janet, how about you? How did you get started at Banyan School?
Well, I've been in education for more years than I want to tell everybody publicly on the television. I started working in camps as early as 7th grade as a counselor in training. I really feel like for me, it's been a calling. I feel like I've never worked a day in my life because I'm just very passionate about what we do, what I've done prior to Banyan and at Banyan. When we can make kids successful and bring them to somewhere where they feel personally successful, at the end of the day, that's all we can hope for. And it's my honor to serve the families that place their children in our hands.
Well, Janet, Melissa, this was so special. You are two extraordinary individuals. Thank you so much. Where can people find out more information about Banyan School?
Banyanschool.org. They can go online and look at our website, and all of our contact information is on there. And they can reach out to us, and we're happy to answer any questions that any prospective student or family might have.
Before we wrap, I just want to shout out Sherry from AZI, where we film Your New Jersey. She's part of the Banyan School community, and she recommended that we have you on the show, and I'm so happy she did. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are as well.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. on the field, and off the field. Kane worked with me, guided me, helped me climb higher to get where I belong, to change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.
United Way of Northern New Jersey is part of a national movement which sheds light on a population called ALICE. Kiran Gaudioso, CEO of United Way of Northern New Jersey, and Jessica Fernandez, who serves on an advisory committee for ALICE, are here to share more. Kiran, Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Kiran, let's start with you. Tell us about ALICE and how the United Way of Northern New Jersey is working on this national movement.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate the time to talk to you about an issue we care very deeply about here at United Way Northern New Jersey. ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And it's talking about those workers, those families who are working yet struggle to make ends meet. Often two or three jobs, and at the end of the week, their income doesn't match up with their expenses. And so we, United Way Northern New Jersey, more than 10 years ago, started this research project that has grown to a national movement that highlights these workers. And we talk about ALICE families in New Jersey representing 36% of households in New Jersey are either ALICE or in poverty. And that means that they, again, are working yet struggling every week to afford the basics for their families and end up making really difficult choices. One thing to point out when we think about ALICE workers, we're really talking about the folks who are the mainstay of our economy, people working in retail, in the service economy, the entire care economy, childcare, healthcare. So we're really talking about a workforce that we all need. And we say that when ALICE families and ALICE workers are struggling, we're all impacted because it means our community is at risk.
When preparing for this segment, I was shocked, and I'll let you say these stats, Kiran, about what the current federal poverty level is. And then when you put it up against the cost of living, inflation, it's hard to believe that people make it work in this economy right now because it's tough.
No, you're getting to the heart of the issue and why the ALICE movement was started and why we've grown so much. The federal poverty level is one number, no matter where you live in this country. For a family of four, it's about $29,000 for a family of four. And what we have done through the ALICE project and the ALICE movement is establish county level data for every county in the country that offers an alternative budget that looks at, we estimate here in the state of New Jersey, a family of four is closer to $90,000. And that's with bare bones estimates in all the budget categories. Not surprising, childcare is the number one cost item in New Jersey at around $1,900 a month. And then right below that is housing, obviously transportation, healthcare, et cetera. And so we really look at kind of the accurate costs of living in a given community, county, and then match that with wage. And we know in New Jersey, more than 50% of the jobs pay less than $20 an hour. So when you link up the income and you match that to the expenses, you see the disconnect. And that's how we determine how many households fall below the ALICE threshold, that 90K for a family of four. And then we add that to the percentage of households that are in poverty. And what we're seeing is the number of families in poverty has stabilized over the last 7 years or even gone down during the pandemic. But the percentage of ALICE households is going up.
You're touching on such timely, important topics because the way of the world now, it is so hard to make ends meet and to save and to do all the things that you need to function in society. And it's just so important that you are helping these mothers. Jessica, how did you join the advisory board?
It started when I left my corporate job to stay home with my son, and because he was starting to show signs of developmental delays and being on the spectrum for autism. So I felt I needed to dedicate my time to just being a mother. And so when I left my corporate job, I also took the step to get my real estate license, just to have something going on the side. And when he started going to daycare, I tried to apply for scholarship programs to assist me with paying for his tuition because, I was still building my business. So I was still living check to check. I was basically living off my savings at that point. And I didn't qualify for any of the programs out there because I wasn't working a 9 to 5 job. So then someone at his school put me in touch with someone at United Way, and then that's basically how it all started for me. And she was really touched by my story, touched by what I was trying to do, and she says, "I think that you have a really good story that needs to be told. Let me connect you with this person and that person," and that's how it all started for me.
Talk about how your life and your son have benefited from these programs.
Well, my son went from completely nonverbal to verbal within 6 months between speech therapy, occupational therapy, and just being in a really good daycare program. They all worked together to assist my son with his developmental delays, and it's just been an amazing transformation. And it's allowed me to focus more on building a career that would provide long-term financial security for my family and I. And it's just been an amazing transformation all around.
Kiran, when you hear success stories like that, I mean, you changed Jessica and her son's life through Alice. How does that make you feel as head of United Way, Northern New Jersey?
And Jessica knows this. I want to thank her for being willing to share her story. So much of what we know about folks who are struggling and facing financial hardship is really just a fear and shame that is associated with it. So I really appreciate Jessica being willing to share her story. I also grew up in a Alice household. I'm first generation on my father's side. My father came here from India with very limited resources, and my parents really struggled in early years of their life and my life. So I also know what it's like to be on both sides of that. But it's incredibly rewarding. It's exactly why we do the work that we do, and getting to have Jessica, on our team and part of our network is incredibly rewarding.
Jessica, how are you helping further their mission?
By speaking about it and not being ashamed of it. Because I will be very honest and transparent. I spent very many years being ashamed to talk about it because I grew up in a community where a lot of my friends came from upper class households, and I always felt like I was different because of the way I was growing up. And I just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be afraid to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about it because in order for there to be change, you have to be able to speak on these things and not be afraid of what people are going to think about it, because it's your story. It's my story. It's how I grew up. And now that I'm older, I'm not ashamed of how I grew up. I'm not ashamed that these are the challenges that I'm facing every single day, because it makes me who I am. So I'm proud of that at this point, and I'm so grateful for it. It's something I'm very passionate about because of how I grew up and how I'm living my life now, and want to continue to do it for as long as they allow me to do it.
And Kiran,
Yes.
how did you get involved in United Way of Northern New Jersey?
Yeah, so I've been with this organization for 11 years. I'm very fortunate, Lexi, that I've been able to have a career in public service. I've worked for government and nonprofits since 1993. I've been doing this for a long time. I ran a large-scale network of after-school programs in New Jersey for 10 years. Prior to that, I worked in New York City, also in the after-school space. So I really come from an education background, really focused on issues of equity, racial and financial equity.
For families watching this right now, how can they get in touch with you to learn more about the Alice program and to enroll?
So there are a number of ways, but the easiest probably is to check out our website, unitedwayonnj.org. And you'll be able to track to a number of resources and programs that we have available. And I also encourage folks to contact 211 directly. 211 is an information referral and a hotline system where you can be plugged directly into a navigator to help with utility assistance and rental assistance and a lot of other emergency basic needs.
Well, Kiran, Jessica, thank you so much. Jessica, this is extra special because you and I go way, way, way back when we were trying to pitch a television show about single parenthood. And, we made some waves and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yes,
I
we
can't
did.
believe this is like 15 years we're talking.
I know.
So it's just really special to be here with you today. I'm so happy to see you doing so well and lending
Thank
your
you.
voice to such an amazing, important cause.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Coming from you, that definitely means a lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. On the field and off the field. Kane worked with me, guided me, helped me climb higher to get where I belong, to change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.